So vocabulary improvement is a goal that we have for pretty much all young kids with disabilities. Many young children with disabilities are identified on the basis of having language issues, which often includes compromises to vocabulary development. So the challenge with providing good vocabulary instruction or intervention is that there's an infinite variety of words we could choose to work on. For instance, you're an SLP, speech language pathologist, working with a 5-year-old this week in therapy, and you want to work on vocabulary. What words do you work on? The selection choice is infinite. So should you work on transportation words or color words or body parts or terms that describe space and location? There's a common push right now for early intervention focused on vocabulary to emphasize what we're calling power words. And a power word is a lower frequency word. So it's a word that doesn't happen that often, but it's a word that has high utility. And a word that has high utility is a word that cuts across disciplines. So a good example is the word calculate. Okay, so calculate or calculation, it's a lower frequency word. You don't hear it that often, but it's a word that would come up in social studies, language arts, math, science. So it's going to cut across the curriculum. And so calculation it's a power word. It's a word we want to get into the hands of young kids really as early as possible when it seems appropriate. Another example of a power word is inspire. Inspire, inspiration. Another example is examine, examination. So these are words, they're lower frequency, but what we would call high utility. Kids' trade storybooks are a very good source of these power words, or what people might call a tier 2 word. So you're reading along about, maybe a person who is planting a garden, and they say, this season is perfect for planting a garden. Well, right there you have the word season and maybe even perfect as good words worth teaching, or what we would call power words or tier 2 words. So instead of working on a really low-level perceptual word like garden, which is actually pretty frequent, you can take words that are lower frequency but are showing up in these storybooks and make those a source of your discussion and elaboration.